are you today? Welcome back to the patch. I hope you're going well. I thought that we'd take a little bit of a walk around the garden today and have a look at what helps make a healthy garden and healthy you. Let's have a look, shall we? So as you can see, our lemons are still growing, and they're growing quite beautifully, and they're growing bigger and stronger, the tree. So the leaves are quite healthy because the soil is healthy. The plant is a very vibrant and healthy plant. So we are quite blessed with these beautiful lemons here in the patch. And they keep providing us with the delicious food that we can eat and that we can grow to share. So underneath we had some parsley. So as you can see, the parsley has gone to seed. But we can use that seed to scatter and to grow more parsley seeds. As you can see, some have already fallen over and they've already started to grow. We also put some borage in. So this is the purple star flower. It is delicious. I quite love it. It tastes like cucumber. So as you can see, the season is changing, just like the garden, and just like we are out learning at home and working at school. So the pumpkins have come to the end of their season, and they are changing and growing at the same time. So while we're still producing flowers, the pumpkins have finished as it is autumn, and we'll be ready to put our new crop back in soon. So as you can see over here, we've got our new crop. We've got some kale popping up here, and we've got some broad beans. We've also got some beetroot and silver beet. So in the garden, the most important thing to remember is to keep the soil healthy. To keep the soil healthy, we need the most amazing treasure on earth. It's called black gold. Do you know what that is? It's compost. So how we make compost here at school is we have a 3-bay system. So I don't know if you guys know that last week was International Compost Awareness Week, and it was really great to see all the different systems that people have and how they work at home, school, in a community when they have apartments and no gardens, but also how you can do it. So do you have a compost bin at home? Send me a photo if you do. So we've got a 3-bay system here. So we have our bay where we put our food scraps. We have a resting bay where it sits for 3 months, and then we have another bay that is empty. So this allows us to have 2 that are functional and 1 that is resting, and once that is rested, then we can pop that in the garden. So let's start at the beginning, shall we? So when we do our garden prunings, we collect them and let them dry out, and they go from green to brown. So they go from carbon and nitrogen. So when they're green, we're adding nitrogen, and when they're brown, we're adding carbon. So it's really important to have a good balance in our compost. So over here, let's have a look and open up our compost bin. Whoa, we have a few vinegar flies, and that's okay. But that just means that there's a little bit too much compost, and as you can see, well, there's even half a banana. What a waste. So as you can see, there's a little bit too many green waste. So we're a little bit out of balance. So every time you add 1 bucket of green waste, we need to add 2 buckets of newspaper or browns. So here we have some shredded paper from the office and from our wonderful families that donate to us. Thank you. And we also put in some autumn leaves. So if you are at home and you're having a wonderful sunny afternoon and you have some autumn leaves that you have to rake up to help mum, put them in the bag and then drop them over. We would love some here at the patch. So we need a good balance, because otherwise if you add too much liquid to your garden, to your cooking a cake at home, it's too soggy. So we need some flour. So consider this the flour layer. It helps it to absorb and to break down, and it also reduces all those flies. So we're going to actually let that sit for a while. It's already got enough moisture in there today, and then we'll aerate it. So it's really important to have a good recipe that you follow. Do you have a compost recipe that you follow? If you do, send me a link. So once the compost is finished and it's rested, then we'll be able to, once a term, we empty it out. So as you can see, this one here is resting, ready. So let's have a look what we've got under here. can see that it's got some lovely bugs in there. Doesn't smell. If it smells, it means it's out of balance. So if it's out of balance, then it means that we don't have enough carbon or we don't have enough food for it. So we've got to try and keep things balanced. So then we add it to the bed. As you can see, we've already added compost here and mulch in our seedlings. So let's have a look. We've got 2 resting gardens. So this one is nearly finished with all the buckwheat seeds. And then all the zucchinis have nearly finished too. So once the zucchinis have finished, we'll actually add some more compost and we'll add some more mulch and we'll keep growing. And we've been donated some lovely brassicas here. I think they the broccoli ones. Thank you whoever dropped them off. And we've got our nasturtiums are still growing. Now the pumpkins have actually started slowing down, but as you can see, there's a pumpkin coming through. It's growing quite nicely, so once the stalk has browned off, we'll be able to use that in the school canteen. And our snow peas are growing well. And in the sunlight, you can actually see the seeds in the seed pod. So these are the purple variety, so we're letting them dry out. As you can see on this one here. This one has got a couple of seeds in it. So we're going to let it dry out a little bit more, and then we'll be able to grow some more in the garden. Ready in time for when the kids are back at school full time, then they can enjoy eating them. So this is one of our other garden beds that we're going to prepare for the soil. So we will add some compost in here. We've got some feverfew in here. That's a medicinal herb. Beautiful flowers for the bees, and the pollinators like the butterflies as well. The native bees love it. And then we've got some brassicas that have gone to seed for the bees. I quite like the flavour of that. And look, we chopped this one back, but it's growing again. There's some broccolini, I think it is. It's the baby broccoli. So they're all putting nutrients back in the soil because we'll chop and drop that as well. Over here you can see our bee garden is growing quite nicely. This was the resting garden, but we also planted some flowers like the marigolds and the borage for the bees. And then borage has popped up beautifully in the last few weeks since we were here. Look at that. It's beautiful. We've got plenty of parsley. As you can see, thanks to our garden volunteers, we've actually got some space for some peas that are growing and some snow peas that will be growing up our trellis. So they'll be fun to watch grow as well. We have a couple of garden plots for our classes. So we've got 3 here, and this one is almost finished its season. But we're going to save these seeds so that then we can keep planting them in the future. This has been a great trellis, so we might even put some peas underneath here as well. Got some parsley that's growing well. But this patch is now ready, and it's had some compost added to it. So it will be ready to add some more seedlings to keep it growing. Might have to check with the teacher in the class what they would like to grow. Over here you can see that the pumpkins are still growing nicely, and under here the pumpkin we've been watching grow has kept growing. Isn't that beautiful? So when this stalk goes brown, we know that it's ready to eat. It'll be more full of flavour and full of nutrients. And I can see another one. If I just step over here, because some of the leaves are dying back, I can see a little bit more than I could see last week and the week before. Another pumpkin. Now, we were talking about compost before, and I don't know if you guys have seen worm farms, but here in the patch we've got some worm towers. So right here we have, it's a worm tower, and down there are the worms. Can't see them because they're a bit way down. We might be able to give them some extra food. So what we do is once a week we pop down some food there for them. We don't put any citrus or onion because worms don't particularly like that flavour too much. And then we add some more soil, and then actually I like to add some mulch for them in newspaper because the worms really like that. And it is part of the compost system as well. And that way we then, every 3 or 4 weeks, we water it with a hose and just flush it out a little bit, and that will then water the garden bed, and it will give them, like a smoothie, a liquid fertilizer. So So let's have a look over here in the other class patch. We've got some rocket and some parsley, and the marigolds are growing beautifully. Look at the bright, beautiful, sunny colours of that beautiful little marigold. Aren't they lovely? So we've got some rocket that's still growing, and if you have a look here, we've actually got some rocket flowers. Have you ever had a rocket flower? It's quite tasty. My teacher absolutely loves it. So sweet and tasty. A little bit spicy, but not as spicy as the leaves. I don't particularly like the leaves. So underneath this trellis, we'll keep it growing, but we're going to do it chop and drop. Add some compost, add some mulch, and add some more seedlings to it. Ooh, that was a little bit spicy, that one, after the taste. So in here we've got some fennel. Have you seen the fennel? It's a beautiful bulb. It's growing quite nicely. We've got another one in here too. So that'd be great for the canteen. You know, the canteen is up and running this week. So we're going to make sure that we've got some extra food so that you guys can keep eating some fresh salad. So as you can see, there's a new structure. Our garden volunteers have come in this week and they're doing some extra construction to help us keep growing. So no matter whether you're learning from home or if you're back at school this week, stand tall, grow strong, keep learning, keep growing, and keep blossoming. So from here in the patch, wherever you're up to today, take a moment to try something new, to taste something that you've grown yourself, or to start your own compost at home. Have a great day.